Hello, today we will recap a mystery thriller movie, in which a husband allows his wife to hug other men in front of him. Spoilers ahead, watch out and enjoy. The movie begins with a man named Vic, riding a bicycle and returning home through the woods. When he arrives, he sees his wife Melinda, sitting on the stairs and looking at him. Vic asks Melinda what happened, but she says nothing and goes upstairs. In the next scene, we find out that they have a beautiful daughter named Trixie. Trixie is singing her favorite song, and her mother is yelling at her. A babysitter comes to their house because the couple is going to a party in the evening. Melinda calls Vic to her room and asks him to pick a dress for her. Later, she asks him to get her black shoes, and he happily follows her instructions. Melinda then tells Vic that she loves him very much. Shortly after, the couple goes to the party. At the party, Melinda and Vic meet their friends. Suddenly, Melinda sees her old friend and former lover Joel, and she starts talking to him. Vic notices what she's doing but stays quiet. After a while, Melinda takes Joel to a private space outside, and starts kissing him right away. Vic is aware of what's happening, but can only watch as Melinda continues with her actions. Even though she notices Vic watching her, she keeps indulging in her fantasies. Vic's friend Mary later approaches him, and expresses her concerns about Melinda's relationship with Joel. On the other hand, Vic tells Mary that he doesn't care about the situation and what Melinda does, because he still loves her for who she is. After the kissing incident outside, Melinda starts dancing on top of a piano to grab everyone's attention. She then begins playing the piano, impressing everyone. Despite her strange behavior, Vic smiles at her as if nothing happened. Soon after, Joel approaches Vic and thanks him for allowing him to spend time with Melinda. Vic asks Joel to remember a man named Martin McRae, who recently went missing. Vic reveals that he was also Melinda's previous lover. Vic implies that he is the one responsible for Martin's disappearance. Joel thinks it's a joke, but Vic assures him that if he continues his behavior, it will eventually become obvious. Joel becomes scared by Vic's open threat, and leaves the party without saying goodbye to Melinda. Melinda feels offended by Vic's actions towards her friend, and asks him if he said anything to Joel. Vic denies her accusations, and they both go back home. Once at home, with the babysitter still present, Melinda takes off her top and starts walking around the house naked. Vic asks Melinda to go to her room. Later on, Vic approaches Melinda and helps her remove her clothes. We learn that they have an agreement, where Melinda is allowed to love and hug whomever she wants. In return, she won't divorce Vic and will stay with him, because he's concerned about their family. A few days pass, and Vic meets up with his friends who inform him that they know about the threat he made to Joel, disguised as a joke about Martin McRae's disappearance. They also tell him that Melinda has some issues and suggest that he should divorce her, because she behaves this way in front of him. Back at home, Melinda finds out about this and tells Vic to apologize to Joel. Afterward, she invites him to have dinner together. In the evening, Joel knocks on the door, and Vic answers it. Joel nervously asks if Melinda is home, and Vic initially says she isn't. However, Vic quickly reveals that he is joking and invites Joel inside. Later, at the dining table, Vic makes a grilled cheese sandwich for Joel, but Melinda starts eating it in a manner that appears intended to annoy her husband. She then instructs Vic to put their daughter to bed, and read her bedtime stories. In the evening, Vic observes Melinda and Joel hugging each other, but he chooses to remain silent about his wife's behavior. On another day, the couple attends a party where they meet a writer named Don Wilson, and his attractive wife Kelly. As a joke, Don teasingly refers to Vic as a murderer and makes jokes about Martin McRae. During the party, Vic notices their daughter Trixie and Melinda dancing. He then asks Kelly if she would like to dance with him, and she agrees. They begin dancing together while Melinda watches, feeling jealous. On the way home, Melinda asks Vic if he finds Kelly more attractive than her, and if he wants to hug her. Vic admits that Kelly is indeed very attractive, and he had thoughts beyond just hugging. Melinda becomes a bit angry with his response. In an attempt to prove herself superior to Kelly, she kisses Vic's tool, and asks if Kelly can eat it the same way she does. Upon returning home, Vic plays with Melinda all night, which they haven't done in a long time. The following day, Vic and Melinda are watching their daughter play, when Vic receives a notification from his bank regarding Melinda's account. He discovers that she sent a $3,000 check to a pianist. Intrigued by this, Vic decides to dig deeper into the pianist's background. Vic conducts some research and manages to locate Charlie. He pays him a personal visit to find out more. However, to Vic's surprise, when he arrives at the restaurant he finds Melinda there, smiling and engaging in conversation with Charlie. One night, Melinda doesn't come back home and spends the night with Charlie. When she finally returns the next morning, Vic greets her and asks where she has been. Melinda seems to be intoxicated, giving the impression that she has been drinking. Vic approaches Melinda and pleads with her to end her involvement with Charlie for the sake of their daughter Trixie. However, Melinda refuses and tells Vic that having Trixie was his decision alone. She also mentions her night with Charlie and how he fulfills her desires. The following week, they attend a party at their friend's house. Melinda deliberately invites Charlie to the party, surprising Vic. Later on, while everyone is enjoying themselves in the pool, Vic starts feeling jealous as Melinda grows closer to Charlie. Suddenly, it starts raining, and everyone rushes inside. They resume enjoying the party, but Charlie is nowhere to be seen. Melinda starts searching for him, and she starts screaming when she discovers his lifeless body in the pool. Upon witnessing this, everyone rushes outside in an attempt to save Charlie and revive him, but their efforts prove futile. After the police arrive, Melinda accuses Vic of drowning Charlie. The police promptly begin questioning everyone who was present at the party. Vic maintains his innocence, so an officer takes him into a separate room for further interrogation. After Vic provides a detailed statement, explaining that Charlie was drunk and swimming in the pool, the officers seem satisfied and leave. Vic then asks Melinda if she is afraid of him, but she denies being afraid, believing that he killed Charlie because of her. On another day, while Vic is riding his bicycle, he starts thinking of Melinda with another man, and he is taking his killing him. This sight deeply upsets Vic, as he realizes that his mental state is deteriorating due to the actions of his wife. The following day, while riding his mountain bike back home, Vic becomes aware that a car is tailing him, closely following his movements. On another day, while Vic is at Trixie's school, he encounters Kelly, who informs him that Dawn still holds the belief that Vic is responsible for Charlie's death. She mentions that Dawn has been concocting peculiar theories involving Melinda. Later, Vic extends an invitation to Dawn and Kelly for dinner. Eventually, Vic calls Dawn into his basement and requests that he stop spreading the accusation that Vic murdered Charlie. Dawn, remaining convinced of Vic's guilt, insists that Vic undergo a lie detector test, and Vic agrees to take the test. After a few days, Vic is casually walking in a market when he notices the same car that had been following him previously. Vic takes a look around and notices Melinda engaged in conversation with an unknown person. He interrupts their discussion, and the stranger introduces himself as David, a psychiatrist. Vic realizes that Melinda and Dawn have hired David as a private investigator to monitor his activities. Shortly after, Vic arrives at Dawn's residence and accuses him of hiring a private investigator to spy on him. Dawn refutes Vic's accusations, leading to a heated argument between Dawn and Kelly. The next day, as Vic is on his way home, he spots Melinda with another man exploring the city. It turns out that the man is Tony, Melinda's ex-boyfriend from college. On a different day, Melinda invites Tony over for dinner, and mentions to Vic that Tony was the first American boy she ever hugged. Although Vic feels upset upon hearing this, he manages to keep a straight face and maintains a friendly demeanor toward Tony. Sometime later, Vic encounters Melinda and Tony heading upstairs to their bedroom. Vic observes Melinda engaging in her usual activities, and they both make eye contact. After a few days, Vic meets Tony and persuades him to sit in his Jeep. Vic then informs Tony that Melinda wishes to meet him, and drives him to a secluded location, far away from the city. Vic proceeds to question Tony about his relationship history with Melinda, and seeks more information. Vic's Jeep comes to a halt deep in the forest. When Tony asks what's going on, he throws a stone at him, striking him in the forehead. Before Tony realizes what is happening, Vic strikes him again with a large stone, causing him to fall off the cliff. After Tony dies, Vic drags his body into the river and sinks it by attaching some stones to it, but not before taking out Tony's wallet. The next day, Melinda suggests to Vic that they go on a picnic with Trixie at their hiking location, and Vic agrees. The picnic takes place at the same location where Vic got rid of Tony. He later notices the body floating on the surface of the river. Melinda informs Vic on her way home that she left her scarf at the picnic location. Vic responds by saying he'll get it first thing in the morning. He discovers her conversing with Kelly's husband Don late at night. She tells him she loves him, and invites him to sleep in her room that night. He returns to the same location the next day to correct his failure. Melinda is looking for Vic, and discovers Tony's wallet inside Vic's workplace. Vic is attempting to push Tony's body into the water, and Don arrives there. Don wonders what he's doing in the river. Vic makes excuses to avoid the conversation, but Don notices Tony's floating arm. Don rushes into his car and informs Vic that he will be arrested. Vic chases Don on his mountain bike, but is unable to catch up with him. Vic then takes a shortcut and comes in front of Don's car, causing him to take a sharp turn and crash into the river, killing him instantly. In the final scene, Vic returns home. Melinda is waiting for him on the staircase, just as she did at the start of the movie. She looks at him for a moment before revealing that she discovered Tony's wallet. At the end of the film, Melinda burns Tony's wallet, indicating that she is staying with Vic and Trixie. So this was the story of the film Deepwater, released in 2022. If you like the story, then do watch the full film, and if you want to watch more such amazing recaps, then do subscribe to our channel. See you in the next recap.